Danny Vierra from Modern Manna, and I'm coming to you today to give you another interview that I'm having with Rachel Hyman. Rachel Hyman is a singer, and I haven't known Rachel very long. But the other day she called me on the phone and gave me a praise report, and I was so excited that I thought that I would have her come to Vita, go through our lifestyle program, and maybe she could sing a few songs. But I wanted to hear her testimony on how our cleansing detoxification program touched her life. So without further ado, Rachel.
Thanks for having me, Danny. I really appreciate it.
I've had a great time with you. You got so much energy.
Oh, it's been really fun here. It's been really fun.
So tell us a little bit, first of all, about yourself and your work.
Sure. Well, I'm an international singer. I specialize in classical Jewish music, and I had recently just produced and released an album about 6 months ago on songs from the Holocaust. So that's been my life work really for the last 2 years it took to produce it. So a lot of work, a lot of energy went into that.
Now, when you say songs for the Holocaust, what type of music?
Well, you know, during World War II, people wrote songs and poems while they were suffering and hiding from the Nazis. And these songs had actually never been translated into English. They were all still in their natural language of Yiddish. And I decided to have them translated and produce the first album in the world of Holocaust music in English.
You know, I heard you sing some of those songs last night. I want to tell you, they were absolutely moving.
Aw, thank you.
They were very beautiful. You have a lovely voice.
Oh, thanks.
You know, but we don't really know each other. We just met a few weeks ago. My secretary came to me and she said, hey, there's a caller, and I think you want to take this phone call. It's very interesting what this woman is telling me. So I picked up the phone. And you had so much joy and excitement that you were talking to me about some problems that you had in your life. But let's really discuss that right now, because I really want to help other people out there that may be suffering. So tell us a little bit about what were you suffering from? What was your condition?
You know, Danny, I meet a lot of people who have similar conditions as I do, which is it's a condition with no name. A lot of people out there are struggling and suffering with mysterious illnesses where they jump from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, and none of these doctors are capable of giving them a diagnosis. And it's really frustrating. And I was one of those people who had a no-name disease, so to speak. And one of my most mysterious symptoms, Danny, was that my blood sugar would drop every few hours.
Really?
Yeah, and then, you know, maybe your first, inclination is to ask me, well, were you eating candy all the time? Because that can cause your blood sugar to drop after
hypoglycemia.
Or did you have, So I did have hypoglycemia, but nobody knew what was causing it because I didn't have any sugar in my diet. I knew how to eat perfectly for the hypoglycemic patient. I was on a low glycemic diet, was eating enough protein, lots of fiber, but it didn't matter what I ate. My blood sugar would still drop every few hours. And because of this, I was gaining a lot of weight because I had to snack all the time. So if you can imagine, this was just really frustrating. And so that was one, ouch.
Like a roller coaster.
It was a roller coaster. I mean, I remember being in business meetings or I would be behind the curtain ready to go on stage, stressed out, telling people, hey, hold the curtain. We can't start totally on time. I need to scarf down a granola bar or an apple real quick before I hop on stage. And there was always this nervousness that I had no matter where I was, if I was going to give a concert or, a business proposal at a meeting or wherever I was, my blood sugar was so undependable. It could just drop at any time.
So by this time, had you been to a number of doctors? And
I had been to probably 50 doctors in Europe, in America, all over the United States. And we ran tests on thyroid, a lot of endocrine tests, diabetes. I was not diabetic. I was diagnosed with insulin resistance.
You were?
Yes, which, as you know, it's when our cells, our insulin receptor cells, are not responding to the insulin that our bodies are making. However, I was always at a decent weight. I mean, I had gained a little few extra pounds because I snacked all the time, but I wasn't fat. I wasn't obese at all. And my doctors would tell me, it's usually usually fat that causes people to be insulin resistant, but you're not that overweight, so I don't really know what's wrong. And then, Danny, I would meet other people who were full-blown diabetics, which were clearly very insulin resistant, who just didn't really struggle with their blood sugar dropping all the time like I did. And so I just felt like it wasn't fair. I didn't know what to do. And so finally, I had posted something on Facebook, out of all places. I'm sure everybody's had their own personal divine appointments on Facebook. But I posted something on there about health, and a friend of mine wrote to me and said, you really should go on a fast. And, Danny, I was raised in your typical American home where when something is wrong with you, you take a pill. And so even though I was already used to the idea of natural remedies because I had kind of gone that direction, still in my mind, just the idea of a stupid fast, like healing a chronic condition that I'd struggled with for 15 years, it just seemed too simple.
Had you ever done a fast?
I'd never done a fast. And, as I say the phrase too simple, I think of, the examples you were giving in the First Testament scriptures that you were giving the other day about healing, when God used water to heal, a river to heal, or clay from the ground to heal. Yeah, beautiful stories that, it just reminds us that, is medicine meant to be this complicated? And so I really, was keeping in mind those simple stories that God used in these wonderful times in the First Testament. And I thought to myself, maybe God might be able to help me.
Those are great stories because you see water therapy.
Yeah.
You see grass.
Yeah.
Wheatgrass.
Yeah.
They use simple diets.
Yeah.
Lots of water, like we said. And even a fig poultice applied to a sore. I mean, amazing stories of healing. Now you're moving into a fast.
Yeah.
Never done one.
Never done one.
Sounds too simple.
Well, I'd never even skipped a meal in 15 years, much less not eat for 5 or 6 days. I mean, that was just a crazy idea to me. I mean, I had not skipped breakfast or skipped lunch or dinner for 15 years because I had to eat. I would always just feel sick. I would start, to give you an idea of some of my symptoms, Danny, I would shake. I would get very lightheaded. I couldn't focus. I couldn't complete my sentences, forget exercising. In fact, just last year, I remember collapsing in Costco. I remember sitting
really?
I remember
That's severe?
Yeah, I remember sitting just Indian style on the middle of the floor in Costco, and people were walking by and, kind of just staring at me, and I was really embarrassed.
So you're almost fainting.
Yeah, basically, just I wasn't. I
zoning
kind of
out.
Zoning out. I didn't know where I was, or I sort of knew where I was, and then finally, I remember my husband seeing me, and he was like, "Oh, I need to help her," because he was checking out somewhere, and he grabbed me a slice of pizza, whatever they had available at Costco, for 2 seconds. And anyway, it was just really severe, and it really interrupted my life, Danny. It just really interrupted my life.
It was debilitating.
It was debilitating.
Totally.
It was debilitating.
So let me ask you a couple questions here. Hear that you get a low blood sugar, as it were, fatigue, zoning out. So your remedy is eat something, and someone's telling you to fast.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody's telling me to fast, so I'm like, forget it. You're talking to a hypoglycemic.
No, wrong remedy.
Yeah, and they told me this is a fast by Danny Vierra, so let me call him and see what he has to say. And they called you and asked you, we've got this hypoglycemic girl, and then they called me back and they said, we talked to our friend Danny, and he said that it would be okay. And so I said, well, I guess if he says it's okay, whatever, let's try it. And they said, well, we're going to be giving you juices like every hour or every hour and a half. And I was like, well, that would make sense now, but I couldn't drink juice because it would spike up my blood sugar. But they said, we're not going to give you straight juice. We're not giving you orange juice here.
See, you were having to develop a trust because this was new territory.
Oh, totally.
But I would have said that this would be good for the hypoglycemic because I was too.
Oh, really?
And I thought, whoa. And then when I started juice fasting and cleansing, it balanced right out. Because if you think about it, you're getting God's nutrition. You're getting the juice from the plants that He provided. And something that people don't always realize, that in those plants, unlike sugar, there's also minerals in there for metabolism and also chromium that balances blood sugar. So
Totally.
See what I'm saying?
And then there's fiber in the flaxseed, and then there's protein in the psyllium and all of that stuff. So anyway, I went to this friend of mine's, their home, and they put me on this fast. And they said I have to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. But
so they're doing the
your fast
we send out from Modern Manna.
Exactly, they're doing the Modern Manna fast, your fast that you have here.
Because we call it a cleanse.
Oh, okay.
And when you say fast, because it involves herbs, it involves the psyllium.
It really is a cleanse.
It's a cleanse.
It really is.
With juice fasting.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think cleanse is a better word to use, because fasting, you think of somebody. Yeah.
You did a detox.
Yeah, I did a detox. And so, but another problem that I was having, Danny, is I was really struggling with chronic fatigue, which I've struggled with for a long time now. And, but it really hit me hardest in the morning. So when they told me that I was going to be waking up at 7 a.m., I was like, no way. You don't understand. I get out of bed at like noon these days. So I went to their home and I started on this fast, Danny. And I remember going the first day and actually I wasn't even hungry. And I was really shocked. I thought people are starving when they go on fast. I thought you have to suffer,
Think that,
and I didn't suffer at all.
Well, it's because we've designed it that you take a bulking agent, which is a cleansing agent with the clay, with the charcoal, with the psyllium, with the flax, with the marshmallow, so that this swells up. So you're taking this drink 5 times a day with ingredients from the earth that can absorb 40 times their weight in toxic matter.
Wow.
So you're now drinking this in 5 times a day. It's swelling, so you're filling the vacuum of your stomach, so you're not hungry. Because there's volume in there.
Yeah, it was
that's
awesome.
Sucking out poison, and it's going to be like a broom through you.
Yeah, and I felt that.
So how did you feel the first day? Good?
It's funny because I heard, about these, detox symptoms, because I was Googling, what happens when you go on a fast or a
healing crisis.
I was expecting.
Headache, flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, I was expecting
Didn't get
that.
it, did you?
I didn't actually get any of it. I didn't get a single negative detox symptom. I really didn't. I mean, I was cleansing out a lot, but my skin didn't break out. I didn't get tired. I wasn't stressed. I had a lot of peace, more peace than I normally do. I was as each day went by, it became easier and easier to get up at that 7 o'clock hour. That morning fatigue started to leave, and by the time the fast was over, Danny.
And this is now about 5 days.
Yeah, about 5 days. By the time the fast was over, I had much more energy on the airplanes traveling home than I did when I went there. And I went home and I started eating the stuff that I normally did. And I remember praying, Danny. I asked God when I went on the fast that if he could send me a miracle somehow. And I don't know, have you ever prayed a prayer so many times that you almost start thinking it's ridiculous to pray it? I just was like, I was so close to giving up.
Well, you had it for years.
I just had it for so many
doctors.
years. Yeah.
You're passing out in Costco.
Exactly. And so it was almost one of those prayers that I had actually come to the decision that I probably won't even have kids because I couldn't have that condition with children. It was too debilitating. So, and so I was just like, Lord, if you could just give me a miracle, take this away, help for this fast to be able to help me, even if it could just lessen the symptoms, somehow, something, help me with this problem. And so I kind of forgot about that prayer and I did the cleanse. I went home and I started eating my regular food like I normally do. And I found, Danny, that kind of as the days went by, that the times where I used to ask my husband when we were laying in bed at 11:30 at night trying to fall asleep if he could go and grab me some toast from the kitchen, that I wasn't asking him to do that anymore. And one day after about a week goes by, I said, "Hun, have you noticed that I haven't asked you to get up in the middle of the night and go get me an orange or an apple?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've noticed that." And I'm like, "Wow, that's kind of amazing. I think that I'm doing better." And he said, "Yeah, I've been noticing that you haven't been going to the kitchen to get snacks in between your meals."
So your life was changing.
Yeah, Danny.
You prayed to God for a miracle, and you're realizing you've had a healing.
It's not yet 100% healed, but sometimes God takes us through a process, and I've learned to be okay with that. But I've also just went through my second fast here, which we might talk about a little bit later, and so I'm hoping that my symptoms will even have more gone away. But I would say that first cleanse that I went on just about a year ago took away about 65 or 75% of my symptoms. It really took away the severity of my symptoms. And because, Danny, I don't have to snack in between my meals anymore, I've officially lost 25 pounds.
You've lost 25.
Yeah, because I'm not snacking anymore. I can wait 5 hours now before my next meal.
You know, I want to just tell you how encouraged this is. You know, we hear this all the time from people that are suffering with these undiagnosed problems, and doctors don't always have the answer. And people get our 10-day detoxification program, and it's very effective, and it works very, very fast, and there's great changes in there. So, Rachel, you know, I'm encouraged to hear this story because I've heard it so many times. I've been running Bella Vita for 16 years.
Wow.
But I want to say to you also that, you know, when I first did the cleanse, I improved like 60%. But I've been doing it 16 years, every 2 months, and you hit a euphoria.
Yeah.
I mean, my allergic symptoms went away. The hypoglycemia went away. My low immune function went away. My mental clarity increased. And so every 2 months, we have a new group come through, and they have a myriad of symptoms and disease.
I've been a witness to
it.
this program because, you know, and I have to say here, first I want to mention that the hypoglycemia wasn't the only thing that really lessened through this cleanse. Two other main factors are that morning fatigue that I had struggled with for so long left me. And so now, as long as I get a good solid 8 or 9 hours of good solid sleep, I can, when I wake up in the morning, I can jump out of bed. Before, I would have to linger in bed for 2 to 3 hours before I could actually get up. That's gone. That morning fatigue is gone. The other thing, and this is, I don't even know how this happened, but for years, probably 4 to 5 years before I went on the cleanse, I really struggled with a lack of appetite. In fact, I remember my husband saying, you know, even though his heart went out to me, he sympathized with me. When we went out to eat, he was like, man, you know, you're a cheap date. This is great. You know, he's a penny pincher. But we would always I would never finish my meal if he bought a meal and I bought a meal. So we eventually just learned, because I couldn't finish my meal, that we would just end up buying one dish and splitting it because I ate just a few bites. But after the cleanse, I started getting this like hearty appetite back. And now when my husband takes me out to eat, I get like, you know, 2 dishes. He's like, whoa, where did that appetite come from? How is our bill just magically like doubled? But it's because my appetite has come back, and that's been really nice. I hated it when I had to sit in front of this amazing, gorgeous, even healthy meal, and I could only take 5 bites of it. But now when I sit in front of a meal, I can have the whole thing.
So the fatigue definitely improved, the morning fatigue.
Yes.
Secondly, your appetite changed. Now, with all my experience in health,
yes,
I'm already seeing nutritional deficiency. You're not getting enough volume of food. So now when you go on the juice cleanse fast, you're getting, you know, remember, you're not eating 1 carrot. In that day, you may be getting 30 carrots, 25 carrots.
It's
you're
amazing.
Getting all that charge. You're getting parsley, celery. So you're getting all these vegetables concentrated, super concentrated into juices. So your body's getting flooded with nutrition that you've been missing.
Yeah, I was missing it. And also, Danny, throughout my life experience when getting sick, I just always went to medicine. So I'm sure I also had so much residue of just drugs, prescription drugs in my system that needed to be cleansed through my liver and kidneys. And whatever was put in that cleanse, I still don't know what it is, but it really just helped me. And I think it's possible that all the residue from all those drugs are gone too.
Now listen, when we designed this cleanse, we designed it to cleanse the 7 elimination channels of the body. So you have the bowel, the kidney, the liver, the lungs, the skin, all right? And we have the blood and the lymph. So the ultimate goal is blood purification. So while you said I've had all these drug residues, well, one of the products, the bowel number 2, is designed to absorb 2,000 different medication, drug residues. So while you're packing in the super nutrition, the clay and the charcoal are pulling out the drug residues and assisting your liver.
Yes. Yes.
to work more effectively. Now, you said there was a number of things that had improved. I think
Yes.
you told me before we
So-
started there was like 5. So we've hit the fatigue in the morning and the appetite.
And the appetite, the fatigue, the blood sugar problem.
Okay.
And then my skin, I noticed, just greatly improved. I mean, I remember just going like this all the time. Like,
Did you
what
really
did I
notice it?
just, what just happened? I mean, it's amazing when you cleanse from the inside out, you know, because you can go and buy like any
Right.
creams or any cleanses that you want, but that is just, it's really amazing. But I would also say, you know, Danny, when our physical health improves, we're able to mentally concentrate on things more. And
Nice statement.
yeah, I would say my mental clarity would be number 5. I really, I became happier because I wasn't tied down all the time to snacking. I wasn't tied down. I felt when you have so many health problems, you feel like a prisoner. And I was sort of set free, you know?
You
That
know,
was probably
let
the
me
best
point
part.
this out to you because I see this a lot of times. You're praying to God for a miracle. But you don't think that he's doing it through this cleanse, juice, fasting. You're just waiting for it to go away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point, Danny. It's so interesting to see the different methods and the ways, the paths, the journeys that God chooses for each and every one of us. Sometimes God chooses to work a miracle and just take it away. But most of the time, I find that God asks us to use the natural remedies that he put here on earth for us to use. Because through that journey, through that process, we learn how to help others. And sometimes it's in the process where we learn why we're sick. We learn why we're stressed. We learn that maybe we're not good at setting up boundaries and telling people no, or maybe we're volunteering too much, or maybe we're overworking or whatever.
Let me shift a moment. now.
Yeah.
So now you're going through your second
Yes.
cleanse. You're here at our Lifestyle Center, Bella Vita, and you're observing 13 patients,
Yeah.
guests
Yeah.
that have come with pancreatic cancer, Crohn's disease, colon
Yeah.
cancer with metastases, depression. There was one lovely lady just lost her son.
Yeah.
You know, and so what are you seeing as an observer
Wow.
on God's miracle working power
Yeah.
in this facility?
You know, that's an amazing question. It's kind of a packed question, Danny. I'm seeing a lot. You know, when you go to a hospital, they treat the body. When you go to a psychologist, they treat the mind. You know, when you go to a therapist, they'll deal with your emotions. But here, Danny, I've really seen a beauty that everything, people are actually treated as a whole. Everything is getting treated. And so people are feeling better physically, they're feeling better emotionally and mentally. And when I first met people here, everybody was just kind of, you know, you remember the first couple days are like this.
Yeah.
You know, and now they're just like, they can't stop talking. They're, you know, energetic. And it's really been beautiful. And there were a couple people that I remember just on a one-on-one through talking with them were struggling with depression, and they're not even feeling depressed anymore. So it's
beautiful.
It is beautiful. And only God can really work such amazing miracles. It's a lot of work, actually. I was telling my husband the other day, I gave him a call and I said, you know, I mean, it's a lot of work to be able to treat the whole body. That's why hardly nobody does it. I mean, it's a lot of work. But, you know, when we give of ourselves and what we know to be right with the natural remedies, we're using the right stuff, so to speak, and we ask God for his blessing, miracles can happen. And that's what's happening here at Modern Manna.
And what's beautiful is, as you just expressed, that God may use natural products of the earth
Yes.
to heal the person.
Yes.
And that's like you said, that you've read those stories yourself.
Yeah, you know, and you know, there's a movement now, Danny, it's kind of sad, where people are discovering these natural remedies and they're starting to like worship the trees, you know, and, you know, bow down to the earth. And I have some friends who are kind of like that, and I love them dearly, and they're awesome friends. But at the end of the day, these are gifts from God. You know, we need to glorify and praise and thank God who gave these to us as gifts to heal us. And so I'm just so thankful that he gave those to us. I don't know what I'd do without them.
Well, you look healthy.
Thanks, Danny.
You know, you radiate health. You got the joy of God in you that I see. And you're doing a great work. And I think that he's fortifying you. And also, What he's doing is he's giving you a health message that you, through your own healing, your own journey, will be able to go and help somebody
That's
else.
my prayer. That's
Is
my
there
prayer.
anything else you'd like to add that you think?
Yeah, Danny, I want to encourage people. If you grew up not into the whole cleansing thing and using natural remedies, I totally feel you. Like, I understand how weird, fasting can be and not eating for several days and drinking vegetable juice. I know that it can sound kind of out there. But at the end of the day, this is the real stuff. This isn't made in a lab. This isn't made with chemicals. This is real. And if you're struggling to decide, should you do the medicine route or this route, I'm not saying that medicine shouldn't ever be used, but try it. And, Danny, I've been to several lifestyle centers. I've been to many centers,
Really?
Healing centers where they try to and attempt to work on people, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. And Modern Manna, I have to say, is by far the best wellness center that I have ever been to. And even though we serve a God who works miracles, Danny, you have really chosen to dedicate your gifts and talents to him and to help thousands of people. And I will totally, truly feel forever grateful, just like I called you up on the phone a few months ago and said, I've never told you thank you, but I've heard about your name and I know that you kind of came out with this cleanse. It really helped me. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Danny.
I appreciate that so much. And we really pray that you appreciate it as well. And if any of you are struggling and you'd like to know more about Modern Manna, more about Bella Vita Lifestyle Center, more about the healing testimonies, you can go to YouTube, you can watch them there, you can go to our website at modernmanna.org. More people are seeking cleansing and detoxification. And we just want to praise God for that we do believe in the miracles that he can wrought out in every one of us that's sick or suffering. And we also know that he directs us many times to the simple products that he has given us. So bless you all. Thank you, Rachel.
Oh, no problem.
It's been awesome.
It has been awesome.